Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to film at the park. Misty loves being outside, and today we were going to answer some of your questions. We decided to answer some of your questions about English Shepherds, some of the most frequently asked questions. Okay, the first question, what is an English Shepherd? There are a ton of Shepherds. There's German Shepherd, English Shepherd, Australian Shepherd, American Shepherd, Dutch Shepherd, Belgian Shepherd, and those are just the ones I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure there's probably more Shepherds. And interesting enough, on a DNA test that I recently did with Misty, she came back as a mix of all of those breeds. The Dutch Shepherd, the American Shepherd, the Australian Shepherd. She was a mix of all of them. So apparently they all share the same genes. And the interesting part is the Australian Shepherd, the English Shepherd, and the American Shepherd all originated in the United States. And they all are herding dogs, obviously, because of the name Shepherd. And they all look pretty similar, and they're pretty similar breeds. So the first question that I'm wondering is, why do we have an Australian Shepherd, an English Shepherd, and an American Shepherd, all that originated in the United States, but they're three totally different breeds, two of which are recognized by the AKC, one of which would be the English Shepherd, is not recognized by the AKC. I hear a lot of people say, great, don't let English Shepherds be recognized by the AKC, because the AKC tends to put all kinds of the restrictions on dogs, that they have to look a particular certain way, and they have really changed the way. If you go to a farm and see a border collie, and you go to a dog show and see a border collie, they don't even look like the same dog. They look like two totally different breeds. Hi. So we suddenly had a huge influx of people passing by where we're filming. We had to take a little break. But anyway, so I've always heard that it's probably a better thing if the AKC does not get involved in English Shepherds, because then they won't look like this anymore. Actually, I don't know what they would look like, but they wouldn't look like this. They would have all kinds of regulations on them, that they had to look a certain way. And like I said, if you go to a farm and you see an Australian Shepherd, and then you go to a dog show and you see an Australian Shepherd or a border collie, the same thing. They totally look like different dogs. Not that that really answers any of your questions about what an English Shepherd is, but I was just sort of giving my thoughts on that. Another question about English Shepherds is, what makes English Shepherds unique? I would say, first of all, they're great dogs. They have a nice, long, beautiful, sleek coat, and they actually come down from collies. So they sound, when you hear English Shepherd, you might think like German Shepherd or something like that. But actually, these dogs look more like collies, and a lot of people call these old-style collies. As a matter of fact, that was one of the reasons that I happened to run across Misty. I have to admit I'm guilty of it. When I got Misty, I didn't know what an English Shepherd was. And I was wanting to get an old-style farm collie. That's what I'd always heard them called. I'd seen a couple of Facebook groups about it, and I'm thinking, okay, I'd like to have an old-style farm collie. What is this? And I was doing a lot of research, and I came across English Shepherd and found out that they look exactly like what I was wanting. So I found an English Shepherd breeder, and I ordered Misty. Could not be happier with this dog. This is the best dog I believe I've ever had. This is a wonderful, wonderful dog. Old style farm collie, English Shepherd. Another thing I found out, the Scotch collie enthusiasts don't really care for you calling an English Shepherd a Scotch collie, because once I found Misty, I went on a group that I was on for Scotch collie, something to do with Scotch collies. And someone was saying, you know, how can I find a Scotch collie? I would love to have one. And I answered the comment. I said, search English Shepherd, then, they're referred to as English Shepherds. Well, they came back, oh, no. These are totally different dogs. These English Shepherds are not Scotch collies. I have both. They're totally different. So apparently these are not Scotch collies, but they are considered old-time farm collies. The next question is, what kind of personality can I expect from an English Shepherd? I would answer that by saying, number one, well, obviously they have their own personality, but a lot of people say, and this is true and for the most part, the dog's personality depends on how the dog was brought up. And that is true to an extent. But the one thing that I will point out about Misty, I've had Misty since she was 8 weeks old, and she has been loved. I have never loved a dog like I've loved this dog in my life. She has never known anything but love. I let her get by. She is so spoiled because I let her get by with everything. I never correct her. Of course, that could be a bad thing. I just let her pretty much get by with whatever she wants to get by with. She has been very well socialized ever since she was a puppy. She's been socialized here and there with people. I've tried to socialize her with other dogs. She is extremely skittish. She doesn't like being around anybody that she doesn't know. She won't let people pet her that she doesn't know, and especially if they're not holding a treat. She doesn't do well at all with other dogs. And the fact that I've had her since she was 8 weeks old, I've showed her all this love, I've socialized her, I've took her, I mean, she's been around people and other dogs her entire life. She's 3 years old now. I've had her since she was 8 weeks. And if someone was to adopt Misty tomorrow, they would swear that she's been abused because she's so skittish of people. She's so terrified of other dogs. In fact, she sort of tries to act aggressive toward other dogs, but when they actually come to her and don't, like if she barks at them and it doesn't scare them and they come to her anyway, she runs and hides behind me. She won't confront them once they actually confront her. But to answer your question about personality, English Shepherds are very sweet, very loving. They're very dedicated to their owners. They can be just one-person dogs where they love everybody in the family, but the person that they know that takes care of them, that's who they're going to kind of flock to and kind of stick to like Velcro. So they're very loving dogs. They do like to chase. They do like to herd. Obviously, they're herding dogs, so they could possibly nip at or herd children or smaller animals. English Shepherds don't like to have their routine disturbed. They have a daily routine, and if that routine is disturbed, it makes them nervous and anxious. They just like to pretty much live by the book. They're bossy dogs. Like I read one time, it still cracks me up today. They said if you take an English Shepherd into a dog park, you might as well put a striped shirt on them and put a whistle in their mouth because they're going to be running around maintaining order with all the other dogs in the park. They're going to be blowing the whistle, telling them when they're doing something wrong because they do. They're bossy. They like order. They like their routines, and they're just all around great dogs. They do need a lot of exercise. And they probably wouldn't do real good in an apartment. Now, I have a smaller home. I do have a fenced-in yard for Misty, so she does good with that. The next question, how much exercise does an English Shepherd need? They need a lot. They need at least an hour a day of a walk or run. Run would be better. I let Misty run beside of my bike. I've got a video about that you can check out. They love to chase balls. They have a very high chasing instinct. If you have a field, you can let them run, throw a ball, just let them loose. That's great. Being on a farm is great. At least an hour walking a day. So yeah, they do need a lot of exercise. That's for sure. Right? Right, Misty? Right. And the next question, how much does an English Shepherd shed? Let's see. We will find out. Can anyone see the amount of hair flying? Hold on. I mean, this stuff is flying, if you can see. I don't know how well the lighting is. Keeping in mind, on Misty's recent DNA test, she came back to have the gene for reduced shedding. So Misty, my perfect English Shepherd, has a reduced shedding gene. As I brush her, I'm talking about this. Check this out. Look at this hair, Miss. This is how much an English Shepherd sheds in 2 minutes. I've been combing her for 2 minutes and look at this. This is with reduced shedding gene. So yeah, English Shepherds shed a lot. And the next question, what are the potential deal breakers for an English Shepherd? Pretty much sort of the same things that I just went over in the exercise requirements. The first thing would be that they need a lot of exercise. I need you to spend a lot of time with them. Sometimes I see dogs advertised in places and it'll say, well, I got this dog and now I don't have time to dedicate to it, so I'm trying to rehome her, $50, sometimes free, whatever. I can't imagine in those cases what it does to the dog, because I know that Misty would be crushed, absolutely crushed, if I decided to rehome her. If I put her in an ad, which would never happen, but if I put her in an ad and said, okay, I don't have the time to spend with this dog, so I'm rehoming my dog. And they always say, oh, I just hate to do this. I'm so sad, but I have to rehome my dog. I absolutely could not do it. There's no way I could rehome Misty. If you do decide to get an English Shepherd, you should also check out English Shepherd Rescues. Those dogs are older, they're past their puppy nipping, chewing stage, and some of them have been trained, they've been loved, and most importantly, they've been rejected by someone, and they need someone to take them in and give them the home and love that they deserve. Not a lot of deal breakers with an English Shepherd, however, do keep in mind that they shed a lot, they need a lot of exercise, and they do have a high instinct to chase. Those are the top questions asked by new English Shepherd or prospective English Shepherd owners. I hope Misty and I were able to answer those adequately for you. If you like the video, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you again next time.